Hi, I'm Prasad Deshpande here, and I want to talk to you about whole brain thinking, an area which is really a passionate subject of mine. So, if you look at whole brain thinking, it's been around for almost about 30 years. There's this person called Ned Herman, who was part of GE, who was head of management at GE, who asked a very simple question, but quite a profound one, and that was, why am I so smart at some things and dumb at others? And Ned Herman was a genius in some ways. He was a painter, musician, singer, sculptor, physicist, but there are some things he couldn't do and he wanted to know why. So through that question, actually, he worked for about 8 years of building on the research of Sperry and McLean and came out with his unified theory of what we call as whole brain thinking. Now, you're all aware of the right and the left brain. Can I say that? Of course. That's based on research done by Sperry many years ago. The right stands for abstract, conceptual, big picture. The left stands for what we call as logical, rational, analytical thinking. And we are a combination of both two different types of thinking, the left and the right. And if you were to open a brain and actually look at it, what you'd find was that they're separate completely. In fact, the only thing that joins them is a broad band of 400 million neurons called the corpus callosum, which joins these two brains, but otherwise they're very different. And what they do is that they process information differently. And because of that, we see things differently depending on our dominance. Now, the concept that's really important in whole brain thinking to understand is, as I mentioned earlier, is the question of dominance. Just as we're right-handed and left-handed, because of nature and nurture, what happens is that over a period of time, by the time we're 18, we have a certain mindset, a certain preference. And that preference is really determined by a dominance for left or right brain thinking and what we call as cerebral and limbic thinking, which is on the top and limbic is at the bottom. So fundamentally we're a function of 4 different styles. This left, the right, the cerebral and the limbic. Colors are important. If you were to visualize and imagine a circle with 4 quadrants, okay? On one side would be the right brain, on the other side would be the left brain. The left brain would be divided into 2 parts, A and B, and the right brain would be divided into 2 parts, C and D. The combination of these 4 different quadrants is what we call as a whole brain. Now, coming back to the concept of dominance, some of us, for example, are more A and B, which is more left brain, than we are right brain, which is C and D. So we would be what we call as double dominant. In fact, one of the ways of looking at the whole brain would be to consider it as a rooms in a house. If each quadrant is one room, when we are born whole. But as we grow older, by the time we're 18, again as I mentioned earlier, due to the forces of nature and nurture, we start developing preferences for each of these rooms. Some of us, for example, are comfortable in the room A and B, which is left brain, and we are double dominant. Some of us are comfortable in all 3 rooms, A, B, and C, which is again a bit of a right brain as well. And some of us are comfortable in all 4 rooms, D. Now, what does A stand for? A stands for facts, data. The question is why. What does B stand for? B stands for example, process. People who are more dominant in B, the color is green, would ask the question, how? C stands for example, feelings, people. And the question that people who are more dominant in what we call as C or red thinking would ask the question, whom? D would stand for what we call as yellow or strategic thinking. People who are more dominant in the yellow in terms of the thinking style will ask the question, what if? They're focused on the future. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we're a combination of all 4 different styles. Another metaphor to help make this a little easier would to look at these as 4 light bulbs. The blue is the blue light bulb, which is A. The green light bulb, which is B, the red light bulb, which is C, and the yellow light bulb, which is D. We're all on at the same time. But because of your dominance, for example, if I'm more A and B or more left brain, my light bulbs, for example, A and B would probably shine at 100 watts. But it doesn't mean that the remaining two are not shining. They're there, but they're overshadowed by the light of these two bulbs. So we have access to all four quadrants. And that is really the fundamental message. Let our dominances define how we think, but need not confine who we are and who we become. And that really is important. We have access to all four thinking styles. And my work with ELS, my work with my clients is really to share with them that we have a potential that is much more than what we're currently harnessing. Though a large part of my work is using whole brain thinking, a greater purpose that I share with the audience and with my clients and with the executives and my coach is that, are you accessing your full potential? Are your dominances defining you to the point of confining you? Or are you able to access areas of thinking which you've not hitherto tapped? That is fundamentally more important. And that's really the message, that once I understand, become aware of the way I think, I become aware of what I'm not thinking and where I can go to and what I can do and what I can do better situationally. So the fundamental message from the work that we're doing here at ELS in terms of whole brain thinking, it really is about harnessing your potential. If I'm aware of how I think, I become aware of my blind spots. I also become aware situationally of where I need to go, what I need to do differently in a situation, so as to actually be more effective, and over a period of time when I'm more flexible and comfortable with the way I think in different situations, I'll possibly be able to become more the person I would like to be rather than the person which I am today. Thank you.